Do you feel this sort of push-pull connection to the Draco star beings? Like you're curious to know if you have any connection to the Draco lineage in your natal chart, but don't want others to know because they might think you're one of those lizard people? Draco starseeds have a complex and rich cosmic history, so it's no wonder that people are both fascinated and afraid of the beings from Draco. The beings from Draco, aka the Draconians, are associated with the villain archetype, and for good reason. They've done some really horrific things, but are they evil or just dangerous? And what's the difference? What if the darkness you've been taught to fear holds some profound healing codes that the world desperately needs right now? So, are the Draco beings really cosmic villains or just misunderstood wisdom keepers? Hey, I'm Kellie. Let's address the dragon-sized elephant in this room. The current spectrum of beliefs around the Draco beings ranges from ancient dragon lineage of spiritual mastery all the way to evil reptilian overlords controlling our government. That's a pretty widespread, don't you think? So, are Draconians really the cosmic villains or just misunderstood wisdom keepers? Ultimately, that's for you to decide. But today, I'm giving you a deep dive into the astrological side of this conversation, specifically the Galactic and Starseed interpretations and how to find them in your own natal chart. Today, we're covering the DRACO-THUBAN lineage, and I'll be following this one up with a separate video about the DRACO-ATTUMENT lineage. In today's video, we will address both sides of the victim-villain story arc from your experiences with or within the DRACO-THUBAN lineage. Ready for some real talk about one of the most misunderstood and most powerful of star lineages? Let's do this. First, let's acknowledge and address what I'm calling the ruler side of this experience. Many DRACO-THUBAN starseeds are here to release the karmic guilt of this lineage, but don't necessarily feel it's appropriate to be absolved of their past deeds. So if you're one who carries the karmic imprint or the soul memory of holding authority, being the one in control, or using fear and coercion to manipulate others, hear this. Martyring yourself in this life doesn't clear the karma, and running from your shadow side doesn't help either. It simply delays the process of accountability and healing. And in some cases, it may even add more layers for you to work through in future incarnations. Beautiful soul, I don't want you to put yourself on trial in this life for things you may have done or experienced in past lives during your Draco incarnation. That's not how the karmic healing process truly works. Your task right now is to call back your soul fragments, and holding on to shame or guilt around your prior Draco incarnations tells the universe two things. One, you don't feel worthy of becoming whole again. That's the shame and guilt. And two, you don't believe the victim is empowered enough to release their experience. So now let's acknowledge and address what I'm calling the servitude side, which is simply the experience of being ruled, governed, or controlled on that side of the Draco experience. So if you carry karmic imprints or soul memories of being controlled, manipulated, or harmed in some way, hear this. Continuing to identify as a Draco victim in this life doesn't dissolve the karmic imprint, repair the harm, or return you to a state of wholeness. And same goes for you. Running from the shadow side doesn't help either. It simply delays the process of restoring your sense of agency in this life and possibly future ones. Beautiful soul, I don't want you to dwell in toxic resentment in this life or any other. It's literally poison to the soul. For the servitude side, these DRACO-THUBAN souls are here to reclaim their sovereignty and agency in this life and release karmic resentment towards this lineage. You didn't come here to be powerless. You came here to remember that you had the balls to incarnate in the Draco system to begin with, so you could carry those powerful star codes within your soul across time. Listen to that part again as often as needed to remember this truth. So if you resonate with the servitude side of the DRACO-THUBAN lineage, then you're one of the souls that are here to reclaim your sense of sovereignty so that you could carry those powerful star codes within your soul across time. So your task now is to call back your soul fragments. The DRACO-THUBAN star beings carry some of the most complex, nuanced, and profound energies in galactic astrology. They represent a crucial part of our cosmic evolution, the integration of shadow into wholeness. From this perspective, we'll be discussing DRACO-THUBAN Starseeds as shadow integrators, because many of us incarnated as Dracos who held authority, sometimes wisely, sometimes harmfully. Some of us incarnated as the beings who were controlled by the ruling Dracos, and some of us have experienced both sides of this polarity across multiple timelines. To keep things simple and easier to follow in this video, I'll be referring to these two primary sides of the story as rulership and servitude. I realize this is an oversimplification since the Draco history spans eons and a multitude of experiences in between, but you aren't here to watch me rant for 5 hours about all of the nuances and variations. So referencing the rulership or servitude side just streamlines the flow of information for you and speak to some of the core karmic imprints that DRACO-THUBAN Starseeds may face in this incarnation. The Draco constellation winds through our northern sky like a celestial dragon, and at its heart lies the fixed star Thuban, a star that once served as Earth's North Star over 4,000 years ago. Depending on what year you were born, you'll find Thuban somewhere around 7 degrees to 7 degrees and 20 minutes of Virgo. Thuban is currently sitting around 7 degrees and 50 minutes of Virgo in the Draco constellation. Also, I use an orb of 1.40 degrees based on the Astrology King's website. Whether you have natal alignments to the fixed star Thuban or are simply drawn to these energies, this video will help you understand and work with DRACO-THUBAN frequencies in your life. Every year, there are multiple alignments to the fixed star Thuban, creating regular opportunities to connect with these energies and the star beings from this ancient system. For example, the moon travels through the entire zodiac in basically 28 days, creating a weekly connection through either the conjunct, opposite, or square alignments. While the moon connects with Thuban weekly, the sun creates 4 powerful seasonal gateways throughout the year. You can use the following approximate dates as guidelines for when to tune into the DRACO-THUBAN energies through these seasonal gateways. Key alignment dates include August 29th to September 1st, Sun conjunct Thuban in Virgo. February 28th to March 1st, Sun opposite Thuban in Pisces. November 29th to December 1st, Sun square Thuban in Sagittarius. And May 29th to June 1st, Sun square Thuban in Gemini. Depending on which source you look into and your location, some people give specific times to meditate, such as during the day for the August-September alignments and at night for the February-March alignments, etc. I always say choose a time that best suits your energy and ability to focus. And just go with it. Don't overthink it. Whether you want to meditate or attune yourself to the energy of any transits, here are 3 core frequencies to help you focus your energy. Shadow alchemy, so transmuting darkness into wisdom through conscious integration. Divine authority, so embodying spiritual leadership that's grounded in earned wisdom. And karmic liberation, so freeing yourself from ancient patterns while honoring the gifts they teach you. And if you want to meditate further on any of these energies, focus on this core declaration. I own my shadow without becoming it. I lead through integrity, not control. I am free from karmic patterns that no longer serve. DRACO-THUBAN Starseed qualities and integration challenges. For those connected to DRACO-THUBAN energy, whether through natal alignments or simply recognizing this star family as your cosmic lineage, here are some of the key starseed traits and qualities associated with DRACO-THUBAN. Mystical philosophy comes naturally to you as both skill and topic of passionate interest. Your connection to ancient wisdom runs through your DNA and karmic memory, and the Akashic records open to you as your integrity deepens. Your strategic thinking spans lifetimes. You see patterns and long-term implications that often escape linear human perspectives. Your ability to channel higher guidance is rooted in ancient telepathic and intuitive capacities that have been refined across countless generations. You understand sacred geometry, ceremony, and ritual intuitively. These aren't learned, they're remembered. You maintain powerful spiritual boundaries and energetic protection. You can navigate other realms and dimensions with ease and clarity. You're skilled at facilitating deep transformation in others because you're not afraid of the darkness. You have a deep understanding of cosmic order and power dynamics, and you have a natural understanding of universal structure and hierarchy. Along with these profound gifts also come some integration challenges. Spiritual authority struggles, which offers the opportunity to learn embodied leadership without ego, superiority, or the need to control. Detachment tendencies, which teaches you to balance cosmic perspective with human warmth, emotional presence, and genuine connection. Shadow integration resistance, which can help develop mastery of alchemizing darkness into wisdom rather than transcending it or denying it. Ancient karmic patterns, which offers the opportunity to heal past life wounds around spiritual power, its misuse, and the victim-villain dynamics you may have experienced. One way to tell where you are on your integration journey is this. When your spiritual wisdom walks hand in hand with your emotional presence, you're making progress. Remember, this is our curriculum. This is the assignment we volunteered for. And a soul who walks the earth with a fully integrated shadow is truly spectacular. Remember, these are the gifts of your DRACO-THUBAN lineage. Okay, talking about these DRACO-THUBAN qualities by themselves only gives you part of the picture. Where these energies land in your chart makes a big difference in how you'll experience them in life. Now that we have some clear ideas about the core qualities and challenges, let's explore the DRACO-THUBAN energy through all 12 astrological houses. Hey there, Editing Kellie here with a quick reminder to always check the description and pinned comment for freebies to keep your Starseed toolbox stocked with helpful resources. And also look for the random promotions or discount codes I may throw out there for you, like this one. To help you kickstart 2026 with a bang, I'm taking 30% off my most popular reading, the Galactic Origins reading, which is currently regular price at $211, but on sale for $144. This is a 2-hour recorded session for you that includes a 30-plus page, comprehensive and fully customized written report and completely customized star chart like this one. I've already opened my book set for January, and this discount is for the first 10 people who secure their booking by the end of this month. So the deadline will be December 31st. Be sure to use promo code 25thuban-144. You can find the link and this code in the description and pinned comment below. So if you've been on the fence about getting a comprehensive galactic astrology reading, hopefully this helps you make that decision. And now is a great time to get in on this. And you don't have to be a DRACO Starseed to get this deal, but be sure to use the discount code that's listed in the description and pinned comment to save 1/3 off the regular price for my most popular reading. And I can't wait to meet you soon. DRACO-THUBAN through the 12 houses. First house, embodied power. You have a commanding presence that people notice immediately. Some are intrigued, others intimidated. Either way, you're not easily overlooked. Your frequency carries the weight of ancient lineages, and people can sense there's something both powerful and otherworldly about you. When balanced, you naturally emanate authority, loyalty, and confidence. You lead by example, and your presence alone can bring order to chaos. When unbalanced, you may project dictatorship energy, mistrust, or spiritual arrogance that creates distance rather than respect. The work here is learning the difference between being in charge versus leading with integrity. Your karmic memory may include experiences of both commanding others and being commanded. Whether you inherited authority or were subject to it in prior Draco incarnations, this lifetime is asking you to discover what authentic leadership looks like when it's earned, not inherited. So allow your natural authority to emerge organically. Don't force it. Empowered leaders earn respect by inspiring trust. Pride and power struggles emerge when you feel your authority is questioned or challenged. Some people will test you simply because they sense your strength. They're either drawn to it or threatened by it. So summon the patience of your ancient lineage, ground your frustration, and your stamina will outlast most instigators and would-be leaders. Dragon codes. If you feel connected to the dragon frequencies within this lineage, others will recognize a spiritual depth and mystical authority in you immediately. You may find that people instinctively treat you as a spiritual guide or teacher even when you haven't claimed that role. With fully integrated dragon codes, your presence creates sacred space simply by being authentic. Second house, core values and gifts. You are gifted with a strong work ethic and long-term vision. Your karmic memory reaches far back into ancient archives filled with generations of legacy building. Loyalty, trust, and respect are fundamental values for you. Treating others with dignity and being treated with dignity in return is non-negotiable. You innately understand wealth building, resource management, and creating structures that endure across time. When aligned, you can build substantial material security through strategic thinking and disciplined effort. For DRACO Starseeds, the karmic split here deals with the distinction between inherited and earned. In DRACO lifetimes, you likely experienced either or both sides of the ownership/value paradigm. Understanding what generates and sustains self-worth in this incarnation is your central challenge. If you previously incarnated into the rulership side, you may have been born into wealth, status, or authority. Your value would have been pre-assigned from birth, giving you an automatic sense of worth and position. In this lifetime, the work is discovering who you are when titles, family names, and inherited wealth are stripped away. If you previously incarnated into the servitude side, you may have been owned, controlled, traded, or otherwise treated as property, whose value served the ruling dynasty. In this lifetime, you might struggle to feel worthy or valuable regardless of how much material success you achieve. The shadow work here includes overcoming the karmic imprint of ownership. The modern equivalent shows up as things like controlling resources to control people, hoarding wealth out of fear, or struggling with scarcity consciousness no matter how much you have. Learning to relate to material security as something you steward or manage rather than something that defines your worth is the path forward. Dragon codes. If you feel connected to the dragon wisdom within this lineage, you may be called to teach about sacred relationship with resources. So, how to build wealth that serves rather than enslaves, the connection between spiritual and material abundance, and how resources flow when we operate from sovereignty rather than survival. The wise dragon understands the difference between protecting its treasure and hoarding it. Third house, the voice of knowing. You communicate with the depth of an old soul. There's a quality to your words that carries weight. People listen when you speak because they sense you're accessing something beyond surface level knowledge. You may share insights that feel both ancient and urgently needed, but can feel like a paradox of timeless and time-sensitive information. Your strategic mind sees patterns, connections, and long-term implications that others miss, which makes you excellent at problem-solving and communicating complex ideas with clarity. The work here is overcoming mental superiority. Your challenge isn't dumbing things down, it's remembering that not everyone has the same depth of knowing you carry. When speaking to others, if your authority comes across as arrogance, you can unintentionally shut down the dialogue or make others feel less than. This leads us to the shadow territory, intellectual arrogance and dismissiveness. When you know something deeply, it can be frustrating when others don't grasp it immediately. This goes for any starseed, not just the Dracos. This shadow can show up as talking down to people, using complex language to maintain distance, things like that. There's also a tendency towards rigid thinking. Your Draco lineage may have experienced reality as hierarchical, with clear right and wrong. But Earth's evolution requires holding multiple truths simultaneously. Dragon codes. When aligned, your communication can carry spiritual transmissions. Your words become vehicles for frequency, teaching becomes initiation, and your voice can activate remembrance in others. Integrating your shadow can mean the difference between performing spirituality and allowing divine wisdom to express itself through you while staying grounded and authentically human. Fourth house, sanctuary and stronghold. Home is where you create, nurture, and protect your chosen legacy. You have a deeply protective instinct that borders on territorial. Your space is sacred and you're clear about who gets access. This is about more than physical security. It's about maintaining energetic sovereignty in your most private, sacred spaces. Family dynamics around authority can be complex here, especially in early childhood. You may have experienced rigid structures, a strict hierarchy of authority, unspoken rules about acceptable behavior, or pressure to uphold the family reputation and legacy. Just remember that home is where your ancestral codes live, both the gifts and the wounds. The karmic work here is learning to balance what was required of the family during those Draco incarnations with what is acceptable or authentic in your current human experience. This can feel like an impossible task. I get that. The weight of ancestral expectations versus your soul's calling for individual authenticity. If you've previously incarnated into the rulership side, you may carry the expectations of greatness, conquest, inheriting the family business, quote unquote, of authority, leadership, and influence. There may be pressure to perform or be disowned, to maintain dignity and appearances, or to uphold traditions even when they no longer serve. Remember, this can be the karmic imprint of that side of the Draco experience. And if you previously incarnated into the servitude side, you may carry ancestral trauma of being controlled, having no voice in family decisions, or being valued only for what you could provide. The wounds of being property rather than person can echo through family lines. And look, every family has a narrative. So what narrative does your family tell about itself? What do they want recorded in the family lineage? Your work is distinguishing between maintaining family image versus healing family karma. Sometimes liberating yourself means being the one who tells the truth, breaks the silence, or refuses to continue toxic patterns, even if it disrupts the acceptable family story. Shadow territory. When out of balance, your home can carry themes of survival rather than sanctuary. This can manifest as rigid adherence to the way things have always been done, controlling family members through emotional manipulation, or completely cutting off family to avoid dealing with the patterns. An important life theme emerging through DRACO-THUBAN lineage is breaking cycles of manipulation, projection, and domination within family systems. You're here to transform inherited patterns, not perpetuate them. With an integrated shadow, your dragon codes will come through when you actively work towards ancestral clearing. As you discover what techniques work most effectively for you to overcome ingrained family patterns and beliefs, techniques spanning from practical to metaphysical, your home can become a true temple, a place where old patterns are alchemized and new, healthier legacies are passed down. As you heal your lineage, you help heal the collective. So important. Fifth house, structured creativity. Your creative expression may have a ceremonial or purposeful quality to it. Whether it's art, music, writing, or any form of self-expression, there's a depth to your work that reflects ancient wisdom or mystical understanding. Alternatively, you may find that logic is one of your most creative tools, the elegant architecture of a well-designed system, or the beauty of a perfectly executed plan. The work here is learning that emotional neutrality isn't the same as being emotionless or unavailable, and discovering that creativity doesn't always have to mean something profound. Sometimes joy for its own sake is the point. There's a Draco tendency to focus on the impressive, the complex, the quote-unquote, this proves my mastery aspect of creativity. Just remember, your creative legacy isn't about showcasing superiority. It's about contributing beauty, inspiration, or healing to the world in whatever form calls to you. Shadow territory. Perfectionism that kills the joy of creating, or worse, refusing to create unless it serves some greater purpose or proves your worth and superiority. The shadow can also show up as using your creative gifts to control how others perceive you, carefully curating output to maintain a specific image. Also, with Draco in the fifth house, romance and play may feel dangerous or frivolous, like losing control or wasting time that could be spent on more important things. But joy, play, and romance are important. They're part of the fun and messy human experience. Dragon codes. When you allow yourself to create from pure inspiration rather than strategic intent, your work can carry profound spiritual frequency. You may discover that your seemingly logical creative process is actually channeling sacred geometry, divine order, or cosmic blueprints. Trusting this flow, even when it doesn't make sense in the moment, can open new dimensions of creative expression. Sixth house, sacred duty. Service is not just what you do, it's woven into how you understand your purpose. You have a strong work ethic, disciplined approach to daily life, and the stamina to maintain consistent effort over long periods. You're comfortable with structure, ritual, and routine, especially when it serves a higher purpose. You may be drawn to healing work, teaching, or any service that requires mastery and precision. You're excellent at maintaining energetic boundaries, creating sustainable systems, and approaching your work with devotion rather than just obligation. The work here is learning that rest equals integration, not weakness. There's a fine line between being devoted and being driven, between healthy discipline and punishing yourself for imperfection. With prior incarnations on the servitude side of Draco, you may unconsciously recreate dynamics where you overwork, undervalue your contributions, or allow others to exploit your loyalty. Prior incarnations on the rulership side of Draco, you may struggle with doing menial tasks or feel above certain types of work. In either case, your challenge is recognizing that rest is not weakness. Punishing your body for needing rest and integration is not the same as taking a disciplined approach to health and well-being. Your body is not a machine. Shadow territory. Spiritual perfection or workaholism in service roles. This shadow can manifest as harsh self-criticism when you don't meet impossible standards, resentment towards those you serve while never actually setting boundaries, or believing your worth comes from how much you sacrifice. There's an aspect of perception management that can creep up for Draco Starseeds in this house too. Controlling perception by controlling outcomes can show up in beliefs such as, I'm the only one who can do this right, or they need me, can become ways to avoid acknowledging your own limits. Dragon codes. When aligned, your daily practice becomes a living meditation. You understand that seemingly mundane tasks, such as organizing, cleaning, serving, or maintaining, are all forms of sacred work when done with presence. You can teach others about building sustainable practices that honor both spirit and body. Seventh house, power dynamics in relationships. You bring intensity, loyalty, and depth to your partnerships. When committed, you're all in, protective, devoted, and willing to build something enduring. You understand partnership as sacred contract, as mutual evolution, and as something that requires both people to show up fully. The complexity in this house comes from karmic imprints around partnership, which likely includes imbalanced power dynamics. Whether you were the dominant force or the one being dominated in prior incarnations, your task now is to learn what true equality looks like. The karmic reckoning. Discovering that being vulnerable doesn't make you weak, it makes you human and real. From previous incarnations on the rulership side, you may unconsciously expect partners to defer to you, follow your lead, or prioritize your needs. You may struggle with vulnerability, being influenced by another, or allowing your partner equal say in decisions. From prior incarnations on the servitude side, you may unconsciously seek out partners who dominate or swing to the opposite and refuse to compromise at all. You might struggle with asserting needs or overcorrect into rebellion. The work here is about promoting and maintaining sovereignty in relationships. Your relationships are prompting you to unlearn hierarchical dynamics and practice true partnership. From the rulership side, this is about learning to share power without feeling diminished, so creating space. And from the servitude side, this is about learning to stand in your power without shrinking, so taking up space. Shadow territory. Control masked as care, loyalty that becomes possession, or the opposite, refusing intimacy entirely to maintain independence. This shadow can show up as testing partners' loyalty obsessively, punishing them for perceived disloyalty, or keeping everyone at arm's length in order to avoid feeling powerless. There may be trust issues rooted in deep betrayal from other lifetimes. Learning to trust again, without being naive and without giving your power away, is delicate work for sure. Dragon codes. When you integrate these lessons, you become a powerful model for conscious partnership. You can teach others about sacred union that honors sovereignty of both partners and loyalty that's freely given rather than demanded. 8th house, the powerhouse. This is your natural territory. Draco Starseeds are natural shadow workers and trauma alchemists. The mature Draco isn't easily spooked. You can thrive in the depths of darkness without becoming what you face. You may be deeply drawn to the underworld, to what's hidden, or to the transformation that happens when we're willing to face our deepest fears and wounds. You have a gift for helping others through their darkest moments. People sense that you understand suffering, not as a concept, but as a lived experience, and they trust you to witness their pain without flinching. Your presence in crisis is steadfast. You're comfortable with levels of intensity that would overwhelm most people. The karmic complexity. Your Draco lineage is widely known for playing the villain role in the collective cosmic story. Naturally, this comes with some baggage. You may have been the one who wielded power harmfully or the one harmed by those who wielded power. And you may have experienced both. Regardless, this house asks you to own all of it without shame, without justification, and without making it your identity. The work here is learning to integrate your shadow without becoming it. The more challenging you find it to release the shadow villain archetype, the more important this work becomes. Your healing doesn't come from denying what happened or spiritually bypassing the darkness. It comes from facing it fully, taking responsibility where needed, and then choosing differently. As for karma, the real task or the true sentence you face in this life is to reclaim what was taken from you and/or return what doesn't belong to you with love and compassion. This is about liberation, freeing yourself from karmic patterns, from ancestral wounds, from the weight of being the quote-unquote bad guy in cosmic mythology, or getting out from under the weight of cosmic victimhood. You get to choose who you are now, regardless of what came before. Shadow territory. The shadow territory here is leaning too far in either direction, mistaking comfort for preference. This is about identifying so strongly with the shadow role that you unconsciously recreate drama, crisis, or intensity to feel alive, or using your understanding of shadow to manipulate, intimidate, or maintain power over others. Also, avoid spiritual bypassing. This includes patterns or beliefs such as, I'm so evolved now that I transcend all shadow, which just means you've disconnected from parts of yourself rather than integrated them. Disowning the parts of yourself that others don't like or accept only suppresses the shadow, not integrates the lessons and gifts. Dragon codes. When aligned and fully integrated, you become the sacred space that helps others reclaim their power from their own shadows. Your draconian 8th house mastery is one of your greatest gifts to the collective. We need people who aren't afraid of the dark. 9th house. The wisdom keeper. Your mind seeks universal principles, ancient wisdom, and understanding that transcends cultural conditioning. You can take abstract cosmic principles and make them understandable, relevant, and practical. When aligned, your students sense that you're not just teaching concepts, you're transmitting lived wisdom from direct experience. The work here is learning to distinguish between cosmic truth and cultural conditioning. This lineage may have operated under the rigid, hierarchical truths that felt absolute. It's an important karmic step to balance your inner knowing with honoring the pace of others' learning journeys. Just because you understand something deeply doesn't mean everyone is ready to hear it, integrate it, or agree with it. Teaching without creating dependency, sharing wisdom without superiority, and allowing people to arrive at their own truth. This requires patience, humility, and trust in divine timing, none of which come easily to the Draco energy. Shadow territory. Spiritual elitism and dogmatic thinking. This shadow emerges when you believe your understanding is the truth, and anyone who disagrees is simply not awakened yet. This creates hierarchy in knowledge, so you as the authority and others as the students who should defer to your wisdom. A tendency to use spiritual knowledge as currency, such as hoarding teachings, creating exclusive access, or positioning yourself as gatekeeper to higher wisdom. This isn't about charging for your work or offering structured courses or workshops, things like that. That's fair exchange in the modern world. This is about withholding knowledge to maintain power over others, creating artificial scarcity where none needs to exist. This perpetuates that earned versus inherited pattern. Those who, quote, deserve the knowledge versus those who don't. Spiritual teachings to bypass accountability. Dragon codes. When you've integrated your shadow and operate from true humility, you become a profound wisdom teacher. You can channel cosmic law with clarity, teach about spiritual authority without ego, and guide others in understanding their soul's journey. Your teaching carries frequency. It doesn't just inform, it transforms. 10th house. The public face of power. You have natural leadership capacity and often find yourself in positions of authority, whether you actively seek them or not. You're comfortable with making decisions, delegating responsibility, and monitoring progress. People may look to you to take charge in complex situations, as you have a talent for knowing what needs to be done. When balanced, you project authority, loyalty, and confidence in professional settings. You build structures that endure, create systems that serve the collective, and lead by example. When unbalanced, you may lean into dictatorship, create rigid hierarchies, or use your position to control rather than empower. The work here is to lead by example, not by mandate. Allow your natural authority to emerge through consistent, aligned action. Don't force it through displays of dominance. Also, learning to handle criticism without defensive pride. Some people will challenge you simply because they can sense your authority. Your legacy is about your impact, not your title. The karmic split. Dominion versus guardianship. This includes learning the difference between dominion over versus guardianship of. This is about understanding leadership as service rather than ownership. From incarnations where you inherited a public rulership role, your life purpose may have been handed to you, packaged as destiny. You didn't have to carve out your quote unquote life purpose and make the many mistakes that come from figuring it out as you go. It was assigned. In this lifetime, the work is discovering authentic purpose that comes from within and not from external expectation or inherited position. Don't mistake ancient destiny for modern purpose. From lifetimes where you incarnated into the servitude role, you may swing to the other extreme. This looks like refusing to lead, letting other people figure it out for themselves, or abdicating responsibility entirely. Just know that abdicating your responsibility isn't the same as empowering others to succeed. In positions of earned authority, it's appropriate to provide structure, guidance, and clear direction. Shadow territory. Pride and power struggles when your authority is questioned. The need to control how others perceive you, or building your career on maintaining appearances rather than creating real value. The shadow here also includes taking on too much responsibility, because let's face it, no one else can do it right, refusing to delegate, which is simply maintaining control, or measuring your own worth entirely by external achievement. Don't give in to perception management. Focus on your intent and integrity. Leave others to their opinions. Dragon codes. Your public work can be a form of spiritual service when aligned. When you lead from genuine care rather than ego, you model conscious leadership for the collective. 11th house. Organizing the collective. You bring strategic thinking and long-term vision to groups and community. Your gift is helping groups move from chaos to coherence and from individual agendas to aligned action. You understand systems, structures, and how to coordinate diverse people toward common goals. You see what a collective needs to thrive, you can organize around shared purpose, and you can maintain focus when group energy scatters. The work here is learning to collaborate rather than dominate within group settings. Your Draco lineage may carry memories of hierarchical structures where someone was always in charge, but healthy collectives operate differently. They distribute power, honor diverse perspectives, and evolve through consensus rather than command. The invitation here is allowing others to have their own experience and learn their own lessons. So take a step back and let the group figure it out. Trust that collectives have their own wisdom, even when the process is messy. Shadow territory. Using your organizational skills to control the group direction. So creating dependency where the collective can't function without you, creating exclusive quote unquote in-groups or out-groups, maintaining hierarchies within supposedly equal spaces, or refusing to engage with group talents that you find inferior. Dragon codes. Your leadership shadow is integrated when you can create structures that support rather than control, organize without hierarchies of worth, and serve collective evolution while honoring individual sovereignty. Your gift is showing groups how to be powerful together without anyone needing to dominate. 12th house. The mystic's territory. This is where you work with the deepest karmic patterns, both personal and collective. You possess natural clarity for seeing the shadow side, both yours and others. And this placement makes you a natural bridge between dimensions. You understand that spiritual work requires more than reaching for the light. It requires integrating the darkness, clearing karmic debris, and transmuting ancient wounds into wisdom. Discernment is the path forward, and not all shadow aspects of the self are quote unquote negative. For example, privacy versus secrecy. Privacy protects your personal space. Secrecy can serve hidden agendas. The work here is choosing what to keep and what to release. Not all shadow material needs to be eliminated. Some of it is powerful medicine when integrated consciously. Discernment is everything. Shadow territory. Shadow territory includes spiritual bypassing that goes both ways, either refusing to look at your own shadow, beliefs such as, I'm beyond that now, or in the other direction, identifying so strongly with your shadow work that it becomes your whole identity. A belief such as, I'm a dark soul, it's just who I am. There are many souls out there who are doing the work and getting beyond the unhealed shadow aspects. The difference is they don't usually walk around telling everyone how enlightened they are now. They anchor the light anonymously. Dragon codes. Once the shadow is deeply integrated, you can guide others through their darkest nights because you've walked the path yourself. You know the terrain. Wholeness requires all of you. Light and shadow, human and cosmic, wounded and wise. So the question to ask yourself for any of these houses is, can you honor your ancient gifts without identifying with your ancient wounds? Evolutionary journey through the nodes. The cosmic curriculum that we signed up for. This is where your DRACO-THUBAN connection invites you into deeper mastery through challenge. DRACO-THUBAN South Node. Natural gift for spiritual teaching and channeling divine wisdom. Innate connection to cosmic order, universal structure, and how power operates. Deep understanding of mystical traditions and sacred knowledge. Comfortable in roles of spiritual authority and leadership. Instinctive understanding of energetic protection and sacred boundaries. Natural understanding of sacred geometry, ritual, and initiation process. Easy ability to work between dimensions and hold space in darkness. Inherent grasp of divine order and cosmic hierarchy. These are not small gifts. They're profound capacities you've spent lifetimes developing. But here's what your soul is asking now. DRACO-THUBAN North Node, developing human warmth and emotional vulnerability alongside with cosmic authority. Growing beyond spiritual detachment, superiority, and the need to control. Balancing cosmic perspective with present moment living and human connection. Transforming spiritual authority into humble, accessible service. Evolving from otherworldly mystic to grounded bridge between worlds. Developing trust in messy human process alongside divine order. Mastering integration of all dimensions of being, not just the elevated ones. Teaching others through authentic living, not just transmitted knowledge. This is some of the hardest work for DRACO-THUBAN Starseeds to do because it requires vulnerability. It requires being seen as imperfect, being wrong sometimes, being messy and emotional and just human. And for a lineage that has often held itself above such things, that's terrifying, but it's also incredibly freeing. Key evolutionary themes for DRACO-THUBAN Starseeds. Moving from spiritual detachment to embodied presence, from spiritual authority to humble service, from cosmic idealism to earthly compassion, from spiritual superiority to unity consciousness, from divine messenger to human teacher, from ancient wisdom keeper to modern accessible guide, and from karmic patterns of spiritual ego to dharmic patterns of authentic service. Understanding your DRACO-THUBAN star family connection gives you clarity on ancient gifts you've carried across lifetimes and the integration work you're here to master. Here's one of my own journal entries from many, many years ago. Words that have carried me through my own shadow work, my own integration, and my own journey back to myself, into my wholeness. The love that awaits me in the darkness. I consciously crawl into the deepest, darkest crevices of myself now, seeking the light within. I trust the wisdom of my shadow to guide me towards hidden truths. I trust the wisdom of spirit that resides in these crevices, waiting for me to seek it there. I trust the love that awaits me in the darkness, for I am always safe. This is the gift of DRACO-THUBAN integration, trusting that there is love waiting for you in the darkest parts of yourself. Not avoiding the darkness, not denying your shadow, and not spiritually bypassing the hard stuff. Trust that your shadow holds wisdom, that darkness is not your enemy, That integration, true embodied wholeness, requires you to go into those deep, dark crevices and discover the light that's been there all along. This is what I truly wish for you. And when you go deep enough into yourself, may you find the answers that you seek. Okay, your turn. What DRACO-THUBAN gifts have you already activated? What are some DRACO-THUBAN lessons that you're still working through? And which side of the rulership servitude paradigm do you resonate with more? Or is it both? Drop a comment below. You know I love reading your stories. And remember, humanity is a group project, so thanks for doing your part. Misunderstood. Ready for some real talk about one of the most understood. Misunderstood. Am I looking this way? Oh, it's right there. It's still, hang on. That one? Okay. Hey, I'm Kellie. Let's address the elephant-sized. Damn it, the wrong one. Hey, I'm Kellie. Let's address my name. Why is my name the hardest part? Hey. Hey. Hello. Hey, I'm Kellie. So are Draconians decide? Pocket. Ultimately, that's for you to decide. So if you fear and coercion to if your one is to call back the soul of being and listen to that part again, the DRACO-THUBAN star beings carry they carry balls, eggs, what do they carry? In this video, I'll be to keep themes. Wow. I can't talk. Across multiple lifetimes. Oh my god. Love the color of the shirt. I hate the fit. Yes. Oh yeah. What is wrong with the shirt? Oh my god, the shirt. Stop. Oh, Jesus. Okay, just stop. That DRACO-THUBAN. Okay. Redundant. Sun conjuncting Thubo. August 20. What in the wide world of shirts is going on right now? Redundant is sometimes a little bit trickier. Whatever, skip that part. Redundant. Okay, and same.